Hello everyone, welcome again in today's my class. In today's class, in this video we will proceed next topic of this chapter and name is nationalism in India. So in today's video in this chapter we will discuss topic about limits of civil disobedience. So let's start this video with this topic. So, the Dalits or the untouchables did not actively participate in the movement. They demanded reservation of seats, separate electorates. Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, the leader of the Dalits, formed an association in 1930 called the Depressed Class Association. He clashed with Gandhiji. Okay, so in this topic, the limits of civil disobedience, meaning the in these paragraphs meaning is though various social groups had come along with Congress to participate in the civil disobedience movement, but there were still many who were not moved by the abstract concept of Swaraj. One such group was untouchables. In 1930s, they began calling themselves the Dalits or oppressed. Initially, Congress did not raise the issues of Dalits. They did so because they were not interested in offending the high caste conservative Hindus known as Sanatanis. It was Mahatma Gandhi who declared that it is necessary to include the untouchables into the movement for achieving independence. He once said, the Swaraj would not come for 100 years if untouchability was not eliminated. He called the untouchables Harijans or the children of God. Gandhiji led satyagraha in favor of Harijans in order to secure entry for them into temples. He also fought for the basic rights for the Harijans, such as accessing to public wells, tanks, roads, and schools. Not only this, he persuaded the upper castes to change their perception and give away the evil of untouchability. While all these struggles were going on for Dalits, some leaders who were from Dalit community began organizing themselves for resolving various issues their communities were facing. For this, they started demanding for reserved seats in educational institutions and a separate electorate so that they would choose Dalit members for legislative council. The political Dalit leaders believed that if they will be politically empowered, they can resolve the various problems of their community. Therefore, the Dalit participation in the civil disobedience movement was limited, particularly in the areas of Maharashtra and Nagpur, where their organization was quite strong. There were moments when the Dalit demands clashed with the ideology of Swaraj. One such incident was the second round table conference held in 7th September 1931 to 1st December 1931, where Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar's demands of separate electorates for Dalits clashed with Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy. When the British government conceded Ambedkar's demand, Gandhiji began a fast unto death. Gandhiji was of the view that separate electorates for Dalits would show would slow down the process of their integration into society. So, Pune Pact between the Gandhiji and Bhimrao Ambedkar in 1932 gave reserved seats in provincial and central councils but were voted by general electorates. The leaders of the Muslim League M.A. Jinnah wanted reserved seats for Muslims in Central Assembly. Large sections of Muslims did not participate in the civil disobedience movement. So, Gandhiji was of the view that separate electorates for Dalits would slow down the process of their integration into society. At last, Ambedkar accepted Gandhiji's position, and the result was the Pune Pact of September 1932. The Pune Pact gave the Dalits or scheduled castes the reserved seats in provincial and central legislative councils, but there was a condition that they were to be voted in by the general electorate. Apart from Dalits, the Muslim also later on felt alienated from the Congress, and they had their own reasons for that. There were some Muslim political organizations in India who were not so keen to be the part of the civil disobedience movement. This was due to the decline of the non-cooperation Khilafat movement in past. Most of the Muslims felt uh, strengthened, strengthened with the Congress. It was so because in mid 1920s the Congress became more associated with Hindu religious nationalist groups like the Hindu Mahasabha. The relation between Hindu and Muslims were worsening day by day. Each community started organizing religious procession with militant zeal. All this led to the communal riots among Hindu Muslims in various cities. Every riot demanded every riot depended the distance between the two communities. While the distance was depending among the communities, the Congress and the Muslim League tried to negotiate an alliance. It seemed during 1927 that such a unity was possible, but the main reason behind the differences was over the representation in the future assemblies that were to be elected. In the beginning, Muhammad Ali Jinnah, one of the leaders of the Muslim League, was willing to give up the demand for separate Muslim electorates. He made a condition of granting Muslims with reserved seats in the Central Assembly and representation in proportion to population in the Muslim dominated provinces such as Bengal and Punjab. Muslim League had accepted that this issue will be resolved at the all parties conference in 1928, but this issue was not resolved due to the strong opposition by M.R. Jayankar of the Hindu Mahasabha. So, when the civil disobedience movement started in 1930, there was an atmosphere of distrust among the communities as the demand of Muslims was not accepted. So, large sections of Muslims did not come forward for a united struggle. Even many of the Muslim leaders and intellectuals were generally concerned about the status of Muslims as a minority within India. They doubted that their culture and identity will be submerged by the Hindu majority. So now we know that various movements of struggle were initiated by different groups with different mindset. Later, all these groups began to separate from each other due to one reason or another. But how the idea of unity and nationalism emerged in such a situation then, and we will discuss in my next video. I hope you all understood very well today's talk, all content. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.